Oh boy, we're in trouble. We're in big trouble. So yeah, it's official as of like a couple hours ago that Joseph Suaalii has signed a $1.6 million deal with Rugby Australia starting next year, mid next year, and he's 19 years of age. So yeah, you might be wondering who? Yeah, if you don't watch rugby league and if you don't live in Australia, you wouldn't know who this guy actually is. He plays for the Roosters. He used to play rugby union as a in high school. He played for Samoa in the Rugby League World Cup last year, and yeah, his management has done a great job. Really played at Rugby Australia like a bunch of idiots that they are, and got him the highest paid deal in the history. Just to think that for a second, right? This guy will be paid more money than Michael Hooper, the captain of Australia, who's grinded his butt off for the last 10 years or whatever, right, to get to the where he is, and this guy's gonna come in with more pay, and all that he has on his resume is play for the first 15 in high school. Okay, I mean, sure, this guy is talented. He's very athletic. He resembles the athleticism of Israel Folau, but he has never won anything. He has never won a rugby league premiership. His like I said, his rugby union experience is high school level, right? And yeah, 1.6 million. So so I watched. So this obviously was leaked last week. So I watched one of the rugby league panel shows with Gaskell and what's his other name? Yeah, a bunch of the other fellows that does the rugby league talk show, the pundits, and I have never in my whole life seen the pundits in this panel unanimously agree that Joseph Suaalii should leave rugby league. They knew he's a time bomb and wanted to get rid of him. I have never seen that in my whole life. Unanimously wanted him out of rugby league. It was just hilarious. Hilarious how stupid Rugby Australia can actually be, right? Rugby League was desperately trying to get rid of him because he's asking way too much for his worth to stay in rugby league. And rugby union boss, hey, let me offer you the biggest contract ever in the history of rugby, right? It's so disappointing because the Rugby Australia, this is not what Rugby Australia needs. Some youngster never proven himself, okay, to come into Super Rugby. It's not gonna fix anything, okay? This is the last thing Rugby Australia needed to do because it's such a bad look on the sport. There's an exodus of players going overseas due to low pay in Rugby Australia, right? Instead of offering a little bit more to keep the talents on board, keep the quality of a Super Rugby at a high level, right? Imagine if they paid enough money to keep Samu Karevi playing in Australia. Imagine if Marika Corambetti is still playing in Australia. Imagine, Quay Cooper is still playing in Australia, right? Imagine all the players that went overseas. It's so long, the list is so long, I can't even name, right? Tom Banks, latest report is that, what's his name? Pisamu is leaving, like the best forward we've got. And what's his name? What's the other guy's name? Reece Hodge is leaving as well. Like this huge list of top talents. Instead of offering them a little bit more money, they're gonna spend 1.6. You don't understand how much money 1.6 million is, right? So Tom Wright's manager came out basically before this deal was done and slammed, Eddie Jones for talking about trying to poach a rugby league player. In fact, Eddie Jones did not ask for this guy, right? Eddie Jones was asking for someone else. The manager, David Rawlings, basically said Tom Banks is looking for a new deal, and why don't you look after your own players a little bit more instead of trying to poach these big players? So last year, Tom Banks has the highest run meter in the entire Wallaby squad, okay? Highest run meter. He's the most effective player on the field when it comes to attack. He's only getting $500,000 a year. Imagine if they just offered him like 100,000 extra, 200,000 extra, and kept him in Australia, right? 1.6 million. You can offer like a lot of players a lot more money to stay in Australia instead of one player that has a high school first 15 on his resume, right? Instead of one player, you could have offered like 16 players $100,000 extra more to stay and play in Australia to bolster Super Rugby, right? It's so stupid. And also, this guy revealed, Rawlings, he's the management for Tom Banks, that the players in Australia has taken a pay cut due to COVID restrictions from years ago, and that still hasn't been returned. So people took 50% pay cut, still haven't returned. But hey, let's offer 1.6 million, right? And this is so stupid because this is ahead of negotiations for so many key players that is looking at leaving Australia. Okay, so there's a lot of players also was like, hey, if we want some bigger deals, otherwise we might be looking overseas. So Reece Hodge obviously had already decided to leave. There's Tanela Tupou, someone's been talking about a lot, that Rugby Australia needs to show him some more money, otherwise he could consider overseas. Harry Wilson wanted to leave. Len Ikitau, one of our best outside centre in Australia wants to leave as well. So on the back end of these negotiations pending, right? How could you be so stupid offering someone 1.6 million? Tupou's gonna want 1.2 now, right? Otherwise he's gonna go overseas. Why would he stay for 500,000 when Tupou can go overseas and get $1 million? Right? When you've offered somebody 1.6, that's the bar now. That's the new level. Right? All of these players, you're going to cost you way more money to keep them now, right? It's so stupid, Rugby Australia. It's so dumb. The Rugby League pundits are literally laughing at you. It's just unbelievably stupid, right? So yeah, so Eddie Jones was obviously asked about his reactions, and Eddie Jones basically said, it doesn't bother me. He's not even going to be, I'm only worried about a Rugby World Cup that's coming up next year, so I have no comment. In fact, Eddie Jones has been asking for another player, right? There's another player from the Rabbitohs that he wants. I think he's, what's his name? Cameron something. There's another player at the Rabbitohs that he wants to bring over. So this is not even the guy that he wants for Eddie Jones going into the Rugby World Cup. So Eddie Jones was just like, yeah, I'm no comment because he's not part of my considerations right now because he's not going to be available till next year after the Rugby World Cup, and that's all I'm focusing on. It's so unbelievably stupid. So unbelievably stupid. This guy gets paid more than Beauden Barrett. Beauden Barrett has won a World Cup. One or two. One. And he gets paid more money than Beauden Barrett. And he's never played high school. He has high school resume. His highest level of rugby union is high school. And he gets paid more than Beauden. A Rugby World Cup winner. It's so stupid. So stupid. I mean, yeah, like he's touted as the pop prodigy, right? He's definitely talented. Give him like 5 more years, he could definitely be one of the best in the world, right? 1.6. Like there has been a lot of talks as well going from both like in the rugby league world that his management is really like shrewd, like really good at playing the game. His contract with the Roosters is like yearly basis. In fact, his contract with the Wallabies is 1.6 on a year-by-year base. So he could literally go, I want 2 million the next year, and if you don't pay up, he's just gonna go play for Samoa. It's so stupid. He could literally ask for more money just before the Rugby World Cup, right? Or like right after the Lions tour, if he does well in Lions tour, he can just go, hey, I want another 500,000 more. We just won the Lions tour. What are you gonna do? Not pay him and let him go play for Samoa? Like it's so stupid. It's It's just over. It's so stupid. Like, this is the guy, Hamish McLennan, the CEO, 1.6 million, the King's School schoolboy, first 15. Unbelievable. Unbelievably stupid. Like, how are you going to keep anyone now? Why isn't Michael Hooper going to stay after the World Cup? He can go overseas for 1.2 million. Why would he stay? You can offer some young kid 1.6. Why would he stay? This is so stupid. If they offer like 1.6 to James Tedesco, sure, okay? Like, you can say, hey, you know, Tom Wright, you don't get 1.6 million because you're not James Tedesco, okay? If you can say to, you know, Samu Karevi, right, who wants 1.6, you don't get 1.6 Samu Karevi, you're not James Tedesco. Because James Tedesco is the best in NRL, right? What makes Samu Karevi ever want to return to play in Australia for less than 1.6? Considering he's literally the best inside centre in the world, why would he return? It's so stupid. It's... Anyway, and yeah, Super Rugby. I mean, I'm supposed to be reviewing Super Rugby these days, and I just can't, like, the games are so bad sometimes. There's like one game each week that is actually like good, like worth watching. The rest of it are just either blowouts or like just like absolute disaster, right? Like poor, like this Waratahs and Chiefs game. Like, there's drop balls everywhere. It's like literally watching, like, I mean, Suaali'i will fit right in because he's literally high school level, right? And then, you know, Brumbies Crusaders. The Brumbies had to rest up 7 players. 7 Wallaby players. It's going to take a break, right? And they went into Christchurch. Guess what? Like, this really, it was not pretty much. It was a one-sided affair. The Crusaders never even looked close to losing this game, right? I mean, the qualities of these games, right, is so bad. So bad, right? Like, 59-0. Like, this is not because Moana Pacifica is not good. Because of the funding, they haven't got enough funding to build their team. Just unbelievable bad. Like, it's just like, and you watch these games, right? Empty stadiums every game, right? The Reds versus, I just watched Reds versus the Rebels. This was actually a good game. Empty stadiums, man. Like, literally, you can count the people that sit in there in the stadium. Like, it's so poor. And Reds versus the Rebels should be like one of your biggest matches of the year. 2 top teams in Australia going at it. And yet, Rugby League, they sold out Suncorp on Friday between the Dolphins and the Broncos? Sold out. Or I don't know, it was a pretty big crowd, like pretty much sold out. And then you get like empty stadiums in Melbourne. And you pay 1.6 million for one player. Like what? He's gonna get injured, I bet you, right? And he's just gonna be sitting at home eating pancakes for 1.6 million a year. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. The quality, like 1.6 million will go a long way of bolstering the quality of rugby in Super Rugby. It's not paying off one player. Anyway, I can rant on and on, but let's just call it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys, I don't know, next week. I don't know if, anyway, thanks for watching, guys. And yeah, let me know your thoughts.